शब्दों में आपका धन्यवाद करें। दिन रात की ये सेवा हम याद करें। दिन रात की ये सेवा हम याद करें। किन शब्दों में आपका धन्यवाद करें। सेवा हम याद करें। किन शब्दों में आपका धन्यवाद करें। बेहद का प्यार आपने हमको है दिया। हीरा हमें बनाकर श्रृंगार है किया। श्रीमत से मन चमन को आवाज हम शब्दों में आपका धन्यवाद करें। दिन रात की ये सेवा हम याद करें। किन शब्दों में आपका धन्यवाद करें। खींचते हमारे प्यार में अब तक भी आ रहे हो। रथ को संभालते हुए वादा निभा रहे हो। ऐसे ही प्यार पर जान निसार हम करें। शब्दों में आपका धन्यवाद करें। दिन रात की ये सेवा हम याद करें। किन शब्दों में आपका धन्यवाद करें। संगम युग में बाबा आकर के मिलते रहना। हमने है सोचा आपसा बन कर के ही है रहना। दिल की यही है आरज़ू प्रभु साथ हम शब्दों में आपका धन्यवाद करें। किन शब्दों में आपका धन्यवाद करें। दिन रात की ये सेवा हम याद करें। दिन रात की ये सेवा हम याद करें। किन शब्दों में आपका धन्यवाद करें।
ओम शांति शांति। ओम शांति शांति। अंतर मन में जगा लो, होगा दूर अंधेरा। शिव का कर लो ध्यान, आ रहा पावन पुण्य सवेरा। से आए अपने आप को जानो, राजयोग के द्वारा अपना परम पिता पहचानो। इसी राजपथ पर चलकर पालो अपना बसेरा। तुम हो आत्मा तन से न्यारे, परमात्मा को प्यारे। दिव्य गुणों को धारण करके योगी बनो दुलारे। ज्योति बिंदु ही तोड़ेगा ये माया मोह का घेरा। अंतर मन में ज्योति जगा लो, होगा दूर अंधेरा। ओम शांति, ओम शांति, ओम शांति। Om Shanti. Good morning. So today, Baba, as he always does, is taking up a few different themes, and one of them is honesty. And one of Baba's classic sayings is, "The Lord is pleased with an honest heart." Yeah. And I remember Daddy Ji, and I think many of us would have heard her say that she never told a lie in her life. Did anyone hear her say that? She said, "I've never told a lie." And she was so sort of clean. And I remember once that she was reading the Moli in Om Shanti Bhavan. And in the Moli, Baba said that children should eat in silence. And in those days, Daddy Janki would sit in the molly. She was sitting listening. And so Daddy Janki said, Daddy G, tell the double foreigners to eat in silence. They make so much noise. They talk, talk, talk when they're eating. And then Daddy G said, but Daddy, you and I talk when we eat. So in front of the whole class, she was so transparent in that way, also honest. But I've often wondered, because often we sort of think of honesty as expressing what I think and what I feel. Yes, it is honesty, but maybe that's mainly transparency. We're transparent because even what we think and feel is often coloured by emotion and body consciousness and many things like that. But I remember once Baba defined honesty as using everything you have according to Baba's directions. And Baba said that you have 6 energies in this life: your thoughts, your words, your actions, your time, your money, and your energy. And when you use them according to what Baba says, that's really having an account of honesty with Baba. And Baba's talking a lot about service as well. And I remember once Daddy Janki also defined service in a really lovely way. She said that service is that action that brings me and others closer to Baba. It's a nice definition, isn't it? Because sometimes are the actions, it's a good question to ask my heart, is it really bringing me closer to Baba? Because sometimes all different things can happen. And I also remember Nevebai saying once, because Baba's saying this morning, you were born to do spiritual service. And I remember Nevebai telling us once that they had an exhibition in Abu Road, and he said it was day and night for some days. This was in the 1960s. And afterwards he went up to Pandav Bhavan, and he had a long rest. And when he woke up, he met Baba, and Baba said, child, where were you? And he said, Baba, I was taking rest. It was a busy exhibition. And Baba said, child, there's no rest in the Confluence Age. You know, and you'll hear it today, because the whole Murli, children do service, children do more service. So the essence for today, sweet children, you are transforming this old world and making it new with your power of yoga. You were born to do spiritual service. Question: what are the signs of true and honest effort-making children? Any thoughts, any signs? Baba's got a few here today. Okay. 1, honest children never hide their mistakes. They instantly tell Baba. They are very egoless. Their intellects are constantly aware that whatever actions others see them perform, they will do the same. And 2, they never spread news of the disservice done by anyone. They remain busy doing their own service. They never spoil their heads. How do we spoil our head? By seeing anyone's defect. That's how you spoil your head, seeing defects of others. Baba has quite a bit to say about that today too. The song, Have Patience, O Mind, days of happiness are about to come.
धर मनुआ धीरज धर तेरे सुख के भरे दिन आएंगे धीरज धर मनुआ धीरज धर तेरे सुख के भरे दिन आएंगे तकदीर का सूरज चमकेगा गम के बादल हट जाएंगे धीरज धर मनुआ धीरज धर
Om Shanti. The spiritual father gives patience to the sweetest spiritual children, just as a physical father gives patience. When someone is ill, he is reassured and told, your days of the suffering of your illness will change and the days of happiness will come. A limited father gives you limited patience. This one is the unlimited father who gives you children unlimited patience. Children, your days of happiness are now coming. Only a few more days now remain. How long is a few more days?
A few more years.
Now stay in remembrance of the Father and also teach others. You are Shiv Shaktis. The Shakti army of Shiv Baba is being created once again. These brothers, the Gopis, are also souls. That's good to know, isn't it? Brothers, you're also souls. They all take power from Shiva. You also take power. The Father has explained there is no question of blessings or mercy in this. Stay in remembrance and continue to take power. Only by having remembrance will your sins be absolved. You will continue to become powerful. The Shakti army of Shiva was so powerful. How powerful? How powerful is the Shakti army of Shiva? And what is unlimited power? Exactly. The Shakti army of Shiva was so powerful that it changed the old world and made it new. You know that you are changing this old world with the power of yoga. People signal upwards with their finger and say, remember Allah, God. You children understand that these mountains of stone, that is, the world will be changed by you having remembrance of the Father. We are now establishing the land of angels. The Father explains to you children, do a lot of service at exhibitions. Make effort. Sit and study whenever you have time. It is very easy. You children continue to receive teachings of every type. There is an account of each one's actions. The actions of Kumaris are good. Those who are married say, if I were a Kumari at this time, I would be a free bird and free from all of these chains. Kumaris are free birds. However, when they keep bad company, damage is caused. A married woman has so many chains of her husband and children, etc. There are so many bondages of customs and systems. Yeah. It's amazing all the customs and systems of all the cultures, because we take them as absolutely true. This is what our culture is about, and yet they're all based on body consciousness, all the seeds of these systems that are so fixed in people's minds as to how to live, all based on body consciousness. Kumaris don't have any bondages, etc. In Bombay, Kumaris are now becoming ready. They say, we will take care of our state. Everyone makes so much effort for their own state. They say, our Gujarat, our UP. You are now claiming your own self-sovereignty. Do not let there be any consciousness of I am so-and-so from such and such a state. You mustn't be jealous of anyone. Don't spoil your head. So what did Baba say? What's spoiling our head? When you see someone's defects, look at yourself and see to how many souls, brothers and sisters, you have shown the path of happiness. If you haven't shown the path to anyone, Baba can speak pretty strongly, you are of no use and cannot climb onto Baba's heart. Excuse me. If you don't climb into Baba's heart, you cannot be seated on the throne in the future. Baba knows that some children have a lot of interest in doing service. They don't have the slightest arrogance of their bodies. Others are very arrogant. They think that they're doing the Father a favor. By doing service, I'm doing Baba a favor. They think that they are doing the Father a favor and not themselves. Never look at anyone's defects. So-and-so is like this, and he does this and that. Nowadays, there are some such clever children who spread news of the disservice done by others. So-and-so is doing this, and he is like this. Just carry on with doing your own service. The duty of you Brahmin children, what's our duty? The duty of you Brahmin children is to keep yourselves busy in doing service. Sometimes we wait for someone to give something to me, don't we? Or sometimes we are proactive and creative. The Father is sitting here and he receives all the news. The Father knows each one's stage. On seeing their service, he also praises them. You children should be enthusiastic about service. Each of you has to benefit yourself by doing spiritual service. You have been doing that business for birth after birth. Hardly any businessmen do this business. The Father explains a very easy way for you to do service. Never defame anyone. Many do this. Maya even catches hold of good Maharatis by their nose. If you don't remember Baba, Maya catches hold of you. The Father says, because they see that I have come in an ordinary body, they are unable to recognize me. So what do? When they just see that Brahma Baba, they don't really see who's entered and who's speaking.
He's like another guru.
Some even give advice to Baba. Some of the children say, Baba, you should do this, you should say this. Baba, you should do this and that. Their stage is such that when Baba tells them a small thing, they become traitors. They give their own dictates to Baba. It is said that when a mouse found a piece of turmeric, he thought that he was a big grocer. I love that saying. Arrogance is an incredible thing, isn't it? Just have a little bit of knowledge and I... Excuse me. It is said that when a mouse found a piece of turmeric, he thought that he was a big grocer. They don't understand that they are doing disservice. Many continue to make mistakes. Sometimes their stage is elevated and sometimes low. This has continued all the time. Each of you has to check your own stage. Honest children instantly tell Baba about their stage. Some hide their mistakes. You have to be very egoless about this. Engage yourself in increasing service. Constantly remain aware. Whatever actions others see me perform, they will do the same. It's like an aspect of the law of karma, like the social aspect of karma, isn't it? You know, if I do good actions and people follow me, that also goes into my account. But if I do not so good actions and people follow me, that also goes into my account, both sides. It's a big aspect of karma. Whatever actions others see me perform, they will do the same. I remember someone telling me that, you know, if a little boy sees his father abusing his mother, what does he learn? And this just goes from generation to generation to generation, this sort of thing. And this is a sort of a deep karmic thing, isn't it? This generational karma. If I defame someone, others will also begin to do that. Many don't even think about this. The Father explains, children, engage yourself in doing your own service. Otherwise, you will repent a great deal. Some even become enemies. They have been transferred from Shudras and have become Brahmins, the mouth-born creation of Brahma. Those who have the 5 vices are said to be part of the devilish community. You belong to the deity community. You are conquering the vices in order to become deities. Deities do not exist here. Deities exist in the Golden Age. You are now becoming part of the deity community. You children have now been given a chance to explain to others. Continue to explain at the exhibitions. Who's been to an exhibition in India? It's amazing. It's just amazing. I went to one in Ahmedabad and I think they were having like 60, 70,000 a day through the exhibition. And they would come to the gate in groups of hundreds and be taken around the exhibition in hundreds and hundreds. And when I started in the 70s, 80s, there was a group of brothers who had an exhibition, a few exhibitions. They'd just tour India. They'd go and set up in a city for a few weeks or a month, unpack it, put it in trucks and go to the next city. It was just like, are they still doing that these days? I don't think like they did in the old days, but it was one of the main forms of service. You children have now been given a chance to explain to others. Continue to explain at the exhibitions. At the exhibitions and gatherings, you can feel everyone's pulse. You can't explain to anyone when you use projectors. People are only able to understand when you explain to them personally, face to face. Exhibitions and gatherings are very good. You can have posters with writing on them too. You should have an interest in having exhibitions and gatherings. When you study regularly, your intoxication will rise. If you are in bondage, continue to remember the Father while staying at home, and your sins will be absolved. It is good to remember Baba even while at home. However, it has become a very difficult thing for children to remember Baba. You don't remember the Father from whom you received the inheritance for 21 births. Even the Maharatis, who give very good lectures, neither remember the Father nor wake up early in the morning. Even if they do wake up, when they sit to remember Baba, they doze off. The early morning time is very good for having remembrance. People on the path of devotion also wake up early in the morning and busy themselves in having remembrance. However, theirs is the stage of descending. Here it is a matter of climbing up. Maya causes so many obstacles. If you do not wake up early in the morning and remember the Father, how would you be able to imbibe this knowledge, and how would your sins be absolved? However, as for conducting the Muli, even small children can learn and begin to explain it. This study is for adults. It is such a big university. Some children do not have the intoxication of who it is that is teaching them. Once we were in a workshop and we were asked what are our 3 favorite points of knowledge, and I remember one brother said, first point is God is teaching. The second point is God is teaching. And guess what the third point was? When you really think about it, sometimes we just take it for granted, really. So Baba's saying we don't have that intoxication. When Maya deceives someone, don't look at that one, but continue to do your service. The Father continues to receive all the news. Some become body conscious and think, this one is doing this and that one is doing that. They waste their time in defaming others. Your duty is to remain busy in doing service. Whenever something happens, just give a signal to the Father, that's all. Don't think about others. You children should remain busy in doing service day and night. How many times has Baba said today? This is your business. Explain at the exhibitions every day. This is Shiv Baba and this is Prajapita Brahma. Prajapita Brahma has also been remembered from the previous cycle. The human world is created through Prajapita Brahma. It isn't that human beings don't exist at all. God creates the human world, that is, He changes thorns into flowers. He creates the world through Brahma, but He does not do that from up above. Baba has to exist here. It is explained to you so clearly. The Father says, I enter this one at the end of the last of his many births and change human beings into deities. So you children have to. So what do we have to do? What's the message today?
Follow the Father in that way.
Giving the message? What's the message today? You children have to work hard doing service day and night. When Baba makes a point, he just reiterates it, doesn't he? Take some time off from your business and engage yourself in doing service. Don't say that you don't have time. If you were to fall ill, would you say that you don't have time? You have to make effort. Nothing can be done through inspiration. Even God can't do anything through inspiration, so how could others do it? They believe that there's nothing God cannot do, that he can even bring the dead back to life. Oh. But you say to God, O purifier, come and make us pure from impure. You don't say anything else. You don't say, come and bring the dead back to life. He is the purifier. Bharat was pure. The Father says, I come every cycle and purify you. Maya then comes and makes you impure. I have now come to purify you once again. I tell you such easy things. Herbalists cure very severe illnesses with herbs, and they are praised. When someone has a child or receives wealth, he would say that he was blessed by his guru. Baba said this a few times in the last few days. Okay, when the child dies, he would say, yesterday he said God's will, today that is destiny. They don't blame the guru. You children now understand all of these things. Sannyasis become pure and they are respected. They are hatha yogis. They cannot teach Raja Yoga. Those are sannyasis and people are householders. So how can we say that they are their followers? The Father says, children, you have to follow fully. Man Manabhav. Remember me and you will become pure and go back home with me. I am ever pure. Human beings make you impure, and the Father comes and purifies you. He is the ocean of purity, peace, and happiness. He is also making you the same. You souls purify yourselves with the power of yoga. You know that you will receive first-class bodies. Humans have to be changed into deities in a practical way. It isn't that you must have to wear dirty clothes. I'll repeat that. It isn't that you just have to wear dirty clothes. You also have to pay full attention. I'm sorry, it's my eyesight. Even with the light. Not dirty, but deity. I nearly led you all astray there. It isn't that you just have to wear deity clothes. Oh, dear me. You also have to pay full attention to yourselves. Let there not be any body consciousness. Baba, I will definitely claim my inheritance from you. You also say we will definitely make Bharat elevated. Only those who have faith say this. Some ask, how can all of this be done in such a short time? In fact, you must never have any of these doubts. When you have doubts, you become slack in doing your service. Children, very little time remains. Make as much effort as possible. Just see when there is even a little upheaval through war, etc., what happens? When sort of you remember God, everyone will then start to make effort. I've had on many occasions when there's sort of like an upheaval in the world, big upheaval, some old BKs give me a ring. Is it time? Is this it? Sort of, we're funny, aren't we? We go along, and there'll be a time, honestly, I think we'll be amazed. I often feel that all the seeds that have been sown over so many years, people who do courses and then for all sorts of reasons of karmic accounts they can't come, they will emerge. I think we'll be amazed how people start coming. You understand that if you don't stay in full remembrance, you will have to struggle and you'll not be able to have remembrance. At that time, there will be many calamities. And this is why the Father says, children, continue to gallop as much as possible. This is a race of souls. The Father explains to you so well. Go and touch the target, that is the Father's home, and then go down into the new world. This is a very fine race. The Father says, touch me, that is, go to the incorporeal world, and then come down here again. Those who are immersed in yoga will go first of all. You want to go to the land of liberation. The Father says, remember me, and you will be able to go there. Everyone likes the land of liberation, and you will then go down to play your parts. No one receives eternal liberation. The term eternal liberation doesn't exist in God's history and geography. You receive liberation in life in a second, and everyone else becomes liberated. Everyone has to be liberated from the kingdom of Ravan. Those who make good effort will claim a high status. You children have to become very sweet. Your nature has to be very sweet. You mustn't get angry. The name of Durvasa has been remembered. Does anyone know who Durvasa is?
He was a guru for his uncle.
He was a guru.
And he was very young.
He was angry girl?
Oh, he was angry. Oh. So the name of Durvasa has been remembered. There are also some like that among the Raj Rishis. Always place your hand on your heart and see what you are doing and what status you'll claim by doing that. So I was saying these gurus are teachers and yet they get angry. So if we're we have to see ourselves, what we are doing. If you don't do service and don't make others similar to yourselves, what status will you receive? You mustn't be satisfied with just a little. The Father says, I have come to give you children full sovereignty. Therefore remain courageous and demonstrate it practically. It's not possible to do this just by speaking about it. You also have to give your bones in doing the Father's service. Some do everything, but they sometimes become body conscious and become intoxicated and then fall. Maya is no less powerful. When you don't follow the Father's Srimad, Maya attacks you and you then divorce the Father. The Father makes you into the masters of the land of happiness, and so have mercy on yourselves. The Father gives you very simple advice. Many storms of Maya will come, but you have to become Mahavirs. Acha. To you, sweetest, beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the Mother, the Father, Bapdada. The spiritual Father says Namaste to you, spiritual children, and the spiritual children say Namaste, spiritual Father. So what will be the essence today? It's pretty obvious, isn't it? 1, have an interest in doing service and benefit yourself and others. Never spread news of anyone's disservice. Don't waste your time in thinking about others. 2, be honest and egoless and increase service. Wake up early in the morning and remember the Father with a lot of love. Let your deeds be equal to your words. So Baba defined spiritual power as what you think and say you do. That's what is spiritual power. Baba said, what you hear comes into your action. The blessing. May you understand the feelings in each one's mind with the stage of Manmanabhav and become an embodiment of success. The children who remain stable in the stage of Manmanabhav can know the feelings in the minds of others. No matter what their words are, you have to continue to practice understanding what their feelings and their motives are. By understanding the feelings in each one's mind, you will be able to fulfill their needs and desires for attainment. Through this, they will become constant effort makers. Then in a short time, you will see great success in service, and instead of being an effort maker, you will become an embodiment of success. The slogan: when going to sleep, hand everything over to the Father and become empty, and you will not have any wasteful or vicious dreams. It's good advice, isn't it? Is it easy to become empty? Just empty of everything that happens throughout the day. The Avyak signal. You souls become so pure in your Brahman life that you even make your bodies matter and matter pure. Therefore, your body also becomes pure when your soul is pure. Totally pure means that there should not be the slightest trace of impurity. This is because to the extent that you have purity, you will accordingly have the personality of Brahman life. If there is some purity lacking in you, then this personality will also be lacking. The personality of purity easily enables you to achieve success in the service you do. It's a big slogan sometimes in Madhavan. Purity is personality. Have you seen around Madhavan? It's true, actually. It's very attractive, a pure personality. So This morning we thought maybe we would just have a little bit of chit chat, and if anyone has any questions or comments or whatever. Our call of time is starting today, so a lot of us are going into silence. So please don't think we're rude if we don't speak to you. We're in a silence retreat. But wasn't this really fascinating that the children who remain stable in the stage of Manmanabhav can know the feelings in the minds of others? You know, sometimes maybe the contemporary language, not as subtle as this, though, is, you know, emotional intelligence, the intelligence to read people, understand where they're coming from. Because sometimes, you know, we're so absorbed in ourselves and what we think people will like. And so, but to really tune into another person, I think is just such an art form, isn't it? On what they need and how to respond. And understanding their feelings and motives. And basically, Baba was saying that's how you achieve success in relationship, when you really tune into the need of the other. And it's an amazing thing, isn't it? Because Baba was sort of saying too, no matter what word their words are, you have to continue practice understanding what their feelings are, because often my experience is what is spoken is very different from what, you know, the heart is really asking for. And I've often thought that, you know, what is life? Life is relationship and communication, isn't it? It's just all day this is what's going on. And I think, you know, sometimes to listen well to people and just reflect with questions, just, you know, is this what you're saying? Is this? And you sort of get into what someone really wants, because to be listened to well, we know, is such a great gift. I remember once I had an experience many years ago. One soul came to the center and she talked non-stop for 1 hour. She wasn't really a BK. And I think I said 5 words in 1 hour. And at the end she said, oh, thank you so much. You've helped me so much. I never said a word, you know. And that really taught me that when you sort of pay attention and someone can unload, especially today, but then to really tune in, what is it really? Because what people say and what they're really wanting can often be, it's a real form of purity, isn't it? To pick up the subtle vibrations. And this is what I really, you know, we always talk about, some of our seniors, but Daddy Prakash Muni to me had amazing emotional intelligence, just to tune into a person, what they needed, and know how to respond. And that's how you keep people happy. And you win so many blessings, don't you, when you sort of step outside your own thinking and just really be present. And even one effort I was making at one point, you know how I think often in this life of self-learning and self-study, we can become incredibly self-absorbed. You know, just so absorbed in me and my life and my story and how I feel and what I need to change. And I began to practice sitting at Amrit Vela without any agenda, just sitting in front of Baba to receive from Baba. Because often I think we sit at Amrit Vela, I often sometimes imagine Baba comes along and says, good morning, child, and we're just so absorbed in my story and what's going on. And he says, oh, you're busy, I'll go and talk to someone else. And it's really interesting because there was one Australian brother who met Baba, and Baba said to him, sit at Amrit Vela with a plain intellect and Baba will touch you. And that means to be detached from myself. Step out of this self-absorption about just trying to work out everything constantly and be present and see what Baba puts in the, you know, the letterbox of the intellect at that time. Because sometimes you get some really interesting thoughts, because I think sometimes we can get so self-absorbed into me and what's going on in my life. Anyway, if we have a minute or two, and then if anyone wants to comment or ask something, please. So just have maybe 1 minute of silence and then we'll start.
Can you hear? Yeah. So, two things this morning. First, I love this new phrase for our self-esteem.
Can you hold it a bit away from your mouth? Sorry, it's a bit hard to
Okay.
hear.
How's this?
Better, thanks. Yeah, thank you.
So, I love our new title of, or I don't know if we could put it into a title, but we're born to serve. That's so beautiful among everything else. And the other thing I noticed was I don't think Baba really kept saying over and over again in this Murli, remember me, like he usually does. But for us to serve, we have to remember God, because the more, of course, we remember God, we become clear channels for His qualities and His power. And so the more we do remember God, we will naturally become serviceable. We don't have to worry about it, because we will be radiating all of God's qualities. Om Shanti.
You know, in a way, service is the expression of my love for Baba. When you love Baba, how do you express that? It's serving. And, you know, if you've ever spent time with someone like Daddy Janki, every moment was to give, to serve. Even with Sister Janti, I've seen, I was at a conference and we had a big program in Sydney once actually, and thousands of people came, and she was in sessions all day. And in between sessions, people wanted to speak to her. And, you know, mostly people want to step back for a little bit of time out. And she got her coffee and she would just answer questions that always sort of... And some people feel, oh, gosh, I'll get exhausted. And perhaps that can happen, but really when I think we feel we're an instrument, actually we get blessings, we get power when we do that. But really I think this... What is Brahman life? It's really to remember one and give to all. Really, ultimately, it's a formula that really makes you happy and very strong. And so, you know, sometimes some think, you know, the first three subjects are important, and service is really can drain me and affect me, and yet service is a spiritual subject. And the reason being for me is that thing that for half a cycle, when the soul is empty, I am addicted to taking hurt, taking sorrow, taking disrespect, taking. And the more I take from Baba and give love, give respect, give support, give cooperation, listen well, and the habit of taking goes and you start to give, so you're less influenced. And this is why I think it's really, to me, service is a spiritual subject. It's not just an action or doing thing. It's a spiritual subject. I couldn't agree more. And and in a way, we have to create an account of pure thought through yoga. Baba says every day, remember him, but the account of pure action through service. We need both, actually, of those accounts for a true transformation. Yeah. Really
Om Shanti. I find it really interesting that this is maybe the fourth Murli this week that Baba mentions inspiration.
Inspiration.
Yeah, he says it's not a question of inspiration. And I really find that interesting. I don't know what it means exactly. The way I'm understanding it is that he said in the Murlis before, it's not a question of inspiration because otherwise, why would I take a body and come or use the body and come? And in some way, this repetition, I feel, may be saying that, don't be tricked by your mind. Don't go, don't think that you should do this or that, but just have the clarity that, I'm here, I'm real. This is what I'm saying. These are my directions. Don't follow your own dictate, I think. I don't know. I'm curious.
But what I've seen in the Maulis is that sometimes Baba takes up a theme and he'll drive it for days, weeks, and even months. And it's lovely in a way. You can almost see that Shiv Baba speaks about something, and Brahma Baba is sort of also on the journey of understanding it. And so, to pick up all those little threads to really go much deeper into a particular subject. And it's so true because look at how many traditions there are in the world. There's thousands, and everyone says that God's speaking to me. And yet God himself says, no, I'm not speaking to any of you because you can't catch it with purity. We don't have the pure intellect. And this is why trance is such an incredible gift in a way. Because in trance, when you meet Baba in the subtle region, it's more like picking up Baba's vibrations, almost what is happening in the blessing. And you have to have such a clean intellect, even in trance. And when I started, there was hundreds of trance messengers all throughout India in the centers, but they stopped it because a lot of the messages were mixed with their own thinking. And they made Daddy Gulzar the official trance messenger and a few others too, because they have that purity to really pick up Baba's inspiration. But even then, Baba says, all the truth is in the Mauli, don't rely on your own intellect. But then, like I remember once, Daddy Prakashmani, there was a problem in Delhi and something was happening in Delhi, and they told the people who were having this problem, said, Daddy Prakashmani has to come and meet us. And so Daddy packed her little bag, and she had this habit of going into Baba's room whenever she would go somewhere. And so she went into Baba's room, she'd packed her bag, the car was waiting. You know how the car waits in the courtyard and everyone comes out to say goodbye. And she came out and said, oh, Baba told me that Daddy Janki should go, not me. And they're amazing, because Daddy Janki went straight, packed her little bag, and she hopped in the car. And actually, my understanding of this, someone was unhappy about something and had gone on a hunger strike in front of the main centre in Delhi. And Nivebai told me this story because Nivebai also went. And you know what he said? Daddy Janki stayed up all night in yoga in the train, sending light to this soul. And when she arrived at the centre, she gave drishti to this brother for a long time, and he came in and had breakfast with her. So much for his hunger strike. You know how sometimes people get so hurt about something in life. It's the nature of the Iron Age and that love. But, Nivebai said all night Daddy was up sending yoga power. And I think about this a lot because you know how so many things are happening out there, and our modus operandi is to do action and talk about it, and yet to work with the power of the mind, it clears problems. I think it's the only thing that really works these days. And I can remember once in our region, in the Asia Pacific, there was problems in a centre, one of the centres, and they wrote, this was snail mail time, they wrote to Madhavan and they said, we're having a problem. And 2 weeks later, they told me that the whole problem shifted in the centre one weekend. And then they got a letter from Madhavan that the Madhavan brothers, you know how the Kitchen brothers, they sat together all weekend sending light to that centre, and that was the weekend that things shifted. And you can't underestimate, because we don't see the effect of thought, we don't really value it, we don't really see how powerful pure thoughts are to shift energies, change atmospheres. And I remember when there was all those riots, I think, in Gujarat many years ago. That thing. And the brothers went, and when Baba came, they said, Baba, should we put more security on the front gates in Shantivan? And Baba said, no, have more yoga. I love that. Yoga is the power that protects, you know. And it's it's a subtle thing. And I wonder, do we really understand the power of that energy to shift energies, shift problems, heal blockages and this sort of thing? It's the power of pure thought, the power of yoga that really does incredible work. Amazing.
We have a question from the Zoom class from Sister Rupali from Chicago. So it says, on Monday, you spoke about imagination as a vice. Could you please elaborate?
Yes, I will. I'll just mention one more thing. We had one brother in Australia who was the captain of like for Qantas, that's the national airline, jumbo jet, and he did the course. Remember, he did the first 2 lessons in Sydney, the second 2 in San Francisco, and he finished in London. You know, their lives. And he met Daddy Janki, and Daddy Janki said to him that, I'm going to remember you at Amrit Vela and send you vibrations. And he said, yeah, okay. He didn't really understand. He said to me once, he was flying at like, 36,000 feet. And he just went, boom. He said it was amazing. I just had such a feeling of Daddy Janki and these vibrations. And he looked at his watch and it was 4 a.m. in London. And here he was sitting up at 36,000 feet flying a jumbo jet. And, the power of thought is instant too. And you're sitting here now, and as I'm speaking, people pop in your head, and we just take it for granted, and yet we've picked up that thought vibration. It's such a fascinating thing. Thoughts are beyond time and space. The power of this energy is extraordinary. I really imagine in the golden age, people won't speak much. We will speak, but just practical things. I think so much will be understood from the face and vibrations. The purity of the intellect, communication, which we do anyway. We do that even now, don't we? We pick up feelings from people and intuitive sense. Imagination is a vice. That's what Daddy Prakash Muni was saying, that the Ramayana is really about 2 vices, jealousy and imagination, and they're the vices of Brahmins. I think it is just, it's imagining things that are going on that aren't really happening. So because of my lack of self-respect, someone just says a comment to me, I can't think of what it is. They just make an offhand comment, and then I start to interpret it, grow it, imagine it, and that little seed grows into a little tree, a big tree, a massive tree, And in my head, I'm really thinking that people are thinking this about me, they're talking about me. I think this sort of overthinking is perhaps another way of saying imagination, that we imagine, it's like a sort of an internal conspiracy theory that I create inside my own head. And it can become a real vice in a way. Just imagining that people think this about me or are talking about me, or And we read, the part of that, it's a form of impurity. We read a whole story into something that's not actually happening. We can create a whole story in my head. And sometimes we're adamant it's happening, and yet everyone will say, no, it's not happening, but some people are adamant that, you know. So imagination is a, yes, Julia. Oh.
Yes. Shanti, Baba said in the Muli that when something happens, just give a signal to Baba and don't think about others. How exactly do you give this signal? How do you do?
And those days, Baba would mean go and tell Baba. And Baba would always say, if something's not going right, tell Baba, and then you leave it. You don't take the law into your own hands. You know that expression? Sometimes I feel I have to do. And that was always Baba's sort of way, that pass it on to seniors and let go, you know, sort of thinking about it too much. At the moment, I would say, you know, talk to someone senior and see if we can resolve it. That doesn't always happen, I understand that. But fundamentally, I think the main message is a little thing happens, we overthink it. And then maybe that same thing too, we imagine a lot of stuff too. And really that imagination, that overthinking, that embellishing a situation with a whole lot of emotion and thing is a form of subtle impurity in a way. And I think Baba's just saying, don't overthink about things, put a full stop and move on. Because I've often thought, you know, one of the most important qualities to have is to be able to analyze well and process well. But that can also become one of the greatest weaknesses, because sometimes we can just chronically analyze everything. And when you do, I think it means you don't remember Baba much. You're so caught in your own analysis of life, analysis of people, analysis of how people, what they're thinking about me, what I think about them. You know, because I can remember that when I was sharing sometime recently how Daddy Nirmala Shanta, Baba said to her, many drops make an ocean, drops of remembrance make an ocean of remembrance. And Baba's told her in those little moments of the day, even when we leave this classroom to go to breakfast, do I remember Baba? And I began to really try to practice to create those drops, to build the account of remembrance. The day Baba said, remembrance makes you powerful. But what I observed in myself is that, you know, in those moments when the mind's free, we go back to analysis and processing of your feelings about situations or what someone said. And really, if we replace that with going to Baba, going to Baba, going to Baba, I really feel we become so strong. Now, we need to analyze, but actually it can be done in a second. But you know how our analysis goes around in circles sometimes. We overanalyze, overthink, and then we often lose perspective. We think ourselves, and I think sometimes we can think ourselves into these strange places, you know. We go into the jungle and the wild. I think you know what I mean. Yes, Julia.
Om Shanti. I was thinking about this word, imagination, and I feel that, for me anyway, it's important to have a distinction between imagination and creativity. Because I think that we are very creative souls. I think that in the golden age we'll be extremely creative, and also visioning things is a very creative process. But it's to me, the imagination part is the falseness of it, because it's something that is not true, is not real. Real in the sense of truth. Because you can say, okay, well, creativity, it's not real then, and you're bringing it into life. But creativity is connected to truth, whereas imagination is falsehood. Because, you know, as children, you're taught, imagine this, you know, or imagine that. And so imagine has a kind of, it doesn't have that feeling of it being false. because it's part of a game that you're learning. But I think in this context, that to me would be the difference. And I think it's important to say.
No, that's excellent, I think. Good way of looking at it, yeah. You know, once I remember Daddy Janki saying an interesting thing, that, you know, she was talking about spirituality and creativity, and we know creativity spiritually is one of the most important things, to be creative in our thinking, because I feel in meditation, often the reason we do doze off because we just think the same thoughts. We're not really creative in understanding. So we listen to a meditation commentary when we're coming down. That's how we meditate for a lot of our Brahman life. We don't sort of really go into deep ideas. But she was saying that, you know, that both are important, but what happened in Bhakti at the beginning, it was very spiritual. But as spirituality went down, she said, well, it was more like entertainment, the creativity side. So Bhakti became like entertainment because there wasn't that deep inner spirituality, so it became entertainment for the sense organs. Like if you go to high church, if you've ever been to high church, and it's like theatre. It's like you're in a theatre with the costumes and it's absolutely amazing. And even I remember I went to a temple once in Mumbai, early morning, and it was like 6 a.m. in the morning, and they had all these drums. The noise was unbelievable. It was just so, and I just realized that when there's lack of spirituality, then we need, through the sense organs, we need this entertainment to keep us sort of engaged, which actually is different from that creativity, which is, you know, when I think of, you know, to be churning to me is about creativity. Yeah, being so creative and keeping it. And that was really something that Daddy Janki was incredible with, original thinking. Amazing to keep myself stimulated. When I sometimes, and I'm sure many of you have done this, you know, if we get a bit bland in Amrit Vela, to read an Avyaktamoli and then start to engage your intellect with it, I find Amrit Vela, before you know it, it's finished. It's, you know, and sometimes, does Amrit Vela seem a long time? Sometimes. Because when we're not really creative or engaged, then we just sort of sit there to pass the time. And we have to, you know, once even Baba said in the Sakamoli, sit in front of a picture of the cycle or the tree at Amrit Vela. Try it. It's amazing. I've done it, and I was just amazed at the ideas that came in my head about time and eternity and life, and to be really creative, keep myself, do new things. And you know how you start something and you do it for a month or two, it's great, but that'll also come to its own conclusion. You have to then stimulate yourself in different ways, other ways as well.
Charlie, going back to the imagination, it's interesting you mentioned this some form of impurity, and based on what you said, that led me to considering assumption or assuming also probably a form of impurity.
Yes, it is.
And this is a very heavy sanskara in us, assuming. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because in a way that's almost a form of imagination too, isn't it? Assumptions. Have you heard that? I love that story that about that someone told. I'm trying to remember who told it, but you know, about the man in the train, and he had his children, and his children were running around in the train, screaming and yelling and jumping on people, and all the train, they were with their father, and the whole train is thinking, you know, what sort of father is he? You know, he's letting his kids run around wild. So they're making a whole lot of assumptions about this person. And one of the people in the train snapped at him and said, what sort of father are you, letting your kids run around, yell and scream? And he turned quietly to this person and said, "Oh, we've just come from the hospital and the children's mother just died." And instantly, and I often think, how often do we jump to conclusions about each other? We see a behavior and we come to imagination, all this imagination or assumption about this person, and yet it's not, we don't know. Sometimes when people come anywhere to a center or whatever, and they're not, you say, hello, like they don't really respond, and we take it a bit personally, but they've come from a situation somewhere and their head's engrossed in it. It's like in the workplace, some people come into the workplace in a bad mood and we take it personally, but actually something's going on in their home and their family. And it's so important, isn't it, to really, not jump into this over-imagination, overthinking, assumptions, but and jumping to a whole lot of conclusions about another person without really knowing what is happening to them.
Yeah, you're bringing up for me is this sense of, I think there's this whole, which is the blessings getting to a way of being in a language that's the language of the heart. And I'm feeling that, a lot of times we go into our head, it's more of a head conversation, and it's a form of protection. Because if there isn't an atmosphere of trust, then there's this need to protect oneself. So to be able to be present and to be with each other and create that safety so that there can be this language of the heart, because there's an intelligence there that I don't know how much we really tap into. But I had a question, and the question is really around on this path of transformation. At times it seems, in my own experience, that you may have a capacity, it may be something like a skill or even a subtle capacity, and in the cleansing process, it's almost like you have to leave it in order for it to be transformed by Baba. Do you find that happened for you on your path? Like there were things that you just had to put on the shelf and allow something to happen, to change? I don't know if the question makes sense, but...
If I've understood, some things you really have to focus on to really transform. I can remember I literally for a year or two really focused on improving self-respect. But somehow some things just time heals, and you'd have to sometimes, just wait. I mean, Daddy Jenki's, one of her main messages, in this life you need incredible patience. And I've learned that too, because sometimes you can see where you want to go. You can see it so clearly, but you need so much patience, don't you, with yourself to move to that point. And that's where I really feel that the wisdom of how to manage a life of transformation is a huge thing. Because sometimes we get so impatient with ourselves. You can see the weakness, you want to change the weakness, you can see how it's affecting your happiness, your relationships, and yet it takes time to change. And, we need a lot of patience, I think, sometimes you have to step aside from something and revisit it later on as well.
Brother, if you were on that train with that man and you were watching the kids, what would you do?
I probably would have had a few thoughts like the other passengers. Let's be honest. But
you talked about the need to listen. Is there something that you could have done to... I'm trying to think what I would have done rather than make assumptions.
Yeah.
Do you approach the man and you say something?
Probably. I mean, I always think it's respectful to approach in a very kind way. I think kindness is, to me, one of the most elevated virtues, because it's offering people respect in a way, isn't it? Just so to say to him, because he was just looking out the window according to this story and just saying, can I help you with, obviously, maybe there's something on your mind or something with your children, whatever it is, just to open the door. I just feel kindness is such you think in your life, if someone just offers you a little kindness, it can have a lifelong effect on how you feel about that person and how you feel. Just a small kindness is, when you're sometimes going through a hard time, I even feel, even in the Brahmin family, sometimes on our journey of transformation, we go through little difficult periods and we get a little bit uneasy or a little bit withdrawn or a little bit grumpy. And rather than, once again, jumping in with the judgment and assumption, there's some reason why that person is like that. And maybe if I can just say kindly, is everything okay? I just say to people sometimes, is everything okay? Sometimes if I'm reading the Muli, and the whole Muli, someone's like this, But I could remember once in India I gave a talk, and there was a man sitting in the front row, and the whole talk he was like this, and occasionally he'd look up at me with this incredible face. And I thought, wow, this guy's not enjoying this at all. And at the end, he came up to me and said, thank you so much, that was wonderful. And I thought body language, But some people listen like they just look up here, some people look down, some people look at you. One of the biggest lessons is that we're all so different. We are all so different. But kindness, especially in this divine family, is so important. Just to be kind and, just give time to people too, because what I've realized also in Australia that, I live in a centre and we have quite a large group living, and we're always with people, all constant, 24/7, a bit like here. But some people come, they live on their own, and they want to come and spend time to chat and talk. And so it's so important to give time to people, listen, have a bit of a Gyani chit-chat, even briefly. Daddy Prakashmani, I remember her once saying that when you're with someone, pay full attention. If someone's talking to you and you're sort of, what you're giving messages that you're not valuable to me and that sort of thing. And I noticed with Daddy Ji, if you spoke, and people would always be around her she would listen to you and pay full attention. It's a form of respect as well. Not to sort of always be looking around and thinking, sort of vaguely saying, you're wasting my time,
What really helps me, Charlie, is that I remember times when I've acted not at my best, and there's always a reason. It doesn't mean I'm like that, so it keeps me from judging others. I always say the day that I become perfect, then I can start to expect others to be perfect.
Charlie, I don't know how much time we have, but I thought you might share just a little bit about what's going to be going on, what you're going to be doing with the room in silence. The theme, the drills, the way we'll work our way through, because we won't be back checking in with everybody.
Yeah. So the theme is towards the light. And so I suppose in the call of time we sort of explore a theme, but we thought this time that, we all know people want more experience than information. Information's important if it's in really short, sharp, quality bits. So we're going to try and create an experiential atmosphere by regularly having drills where the idea of the drill, but we're calling them light practices rather than drills, because drill sounds slightly military. And they may conjure up a different feeling in some people's minds, but with the whole aim of experiencing. You know, Baba gives us drills, and I think a lot of the drill for me is not so much the words or the commentary, but the atmosphere we create. And so when we all, you know, I think the most powerful thing of the Brahma Kumaris is atmosphere. A lot of people are much better speakers than us. You know how in the world they're so articulate and entertaining, but I think we create a vibe, an atmosphere. And I think if all of us sitting in the room really practice and keep that very elevated state, it creates a whole. I often think we co-create an atmosphere and then everyone drinks from that atmosphere. And I think that's the idea, to co-create an atmosphere, then we all drink spiritually. So we're all sort of doing it together. So yeah, it's be a nice few days. And I'm around until very early Monday, but in a way I'm saying goodbye. But I'm not really, because we're going to be mainly in silence, so it'll be, but anyway.
So, Charlie Bhai last time when he came, and he mentioned that he came only for the court retreat, and we didn't even notice that he came because they were in silence, right? Last time too, and by that, I'm gone. But this time, you know, I think Kalaben and Judy Ben, they were thinking that Charlie Bhai come for Peace Village as well. And I think 1 week and retreat, everybody enjoyed. And I was noticing something. First of all, this retreat was for the people who are 5, 7, 10 years in knowledge and last so fast. And condition was those who will attend all the sessions, only they should sign up. That was the condition. But what I thought, I said, we are not that category, plus we are very busy too. And somehow or another, I ended up attending most of the sessions, you know. I will go to the work, you know, many times I had to take care of the thing, and whatever time I could find, I will come and sit in the back. And, you know, like what I really observed, that as much as Charlie Bhai, what he spoke, people wanted to hear more. It's true, you know. And nobody will move, even in the retreat. This is the first, I mean, it's not first time, of course, could be many times, but I noticed that most of the people attended full retreat. You know, how much benefit people took. I myself personally, you know, like felt I was sharing my own experience, you know, it's like such a self-reflection. And I was jokingly even saying that, you know, Charlie Bhai and myself, we started same time, more or less with Brahma Baba, and look where he has reached, you know. With Brahma Kumaris, with our spiritual journey, we started same. So what it is, you know, what make a person reach wherever they are at present time. So it was such a time of self-reflection, and this is the reason, perhaps, you know, there I saw that even in the, you know, on the whole of a Peace Village too, everybody took so much benefit. So one phase of Charlie Bhai's, you know, 1 week he spent with us, and I think he gave his full to all of us, you know. So we can clap for that, you know. The new session is beginning, and thank you so much. And one thing I also noticed, he was paying attention to each and everything anybody has to say. Like yesterday, we got chance to visit the new property, and usually people say, "Oh, he had seen it last time too," and I thought it will be very quick, something. But he was interested in each and everything. Show me this, show me that, show me all those things, and asking those questions, when it will be finished, how it will be, how the experience had been. And I noticed that thing, and that is one of the things which I think you shared yesterday too. But I noticed that the power means quality of listening. That when you listen, you are able to share. So thank you so much, Charlie Bhai. Of course, you will be here until Monday, but at least for our personal retreat, which we took benefit from Charlie Bhai. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ram. So I think we have some blessings somewhere. Not quite sure where they are. Okay.
So yes, we do have blessings and Toli. And while they're sitting up, what might be nice is for, especially those who are not in the cart, to think of a word, how you feel after so many days of being with Charlie Bhai. Just one word before you take your Toli. Come and speak that word in the mic when you come, one by one, as you come. 1, 2 words at the most. When you come for Toli, you will take the mic and speak it. Okay. The way everybody feels right now, after so many days with you, I'd like for them to share and fill the atmosphere with their feelings of that experience. Okay. Thank you.
Energized.
Blessed.
Inspired.
Loving and caring.
Inspire and inspired.
Magical.
Enlightened. I am responsible how I feel. Gratitude.
My word too, gratitude.
Always happiness.
Validated.
Like Baba. Real.
Humility.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you.
I said, Wa Baba. And Baba said, I heard Baba say, Wa child.
Ignited and reflection.
New horizons open. Thank you, Baba.
Feel grateful, blessed, and inspired.
Knowledge and very touching words.
Blessed.
Kind and sweetness.
Light and easy.
Blessed.
Happy. Authentic.
Fortunate.
Loveful.
Learning. He said just learning from spiritual learning. Yeah. Belongingness.
Light.
Loving.
ओम शांति। मैं बहुत भाग्यशाली समझती हूँ चार्ली भाई जी का रिट्रीट का अटेंड करने का भाग्य मिल गया। फिर पूरा संगम युग में पुरुषार्थ करने का हमको पुरुषार्थ बढ़ाने का वो क्या सब प्राप्ति करने का मैसेज मिल गया।
Very fortunate to get this chance to be able to make so much effort after what you have shared.
Shanti brother, I feel blessed and inspired by you.
It felt like a reality check. Content.
I'm blessed to be here.
Blessed. And I feel revived.
Love and kindness.